It hath been long observed by the most judicious men of this republic that the gravest danger to public officers is not war, nor famine, nor insurrection, but that most pernicious and subtle threat known as the written record. Many are the distinguished gentlemen who have been brought low, not by their actions, but by the unfortunate existence of minutes, emails, or recorded statements of those actions. Indeed, it has become the settled wisdom of our governing class that truth is no danger at all until it is documented. And thus, through careful precedent and many tragic examples, they have learned the only certain means of survival, to govern in such a way that no record shall ever exist. This, I submit, is the supreme art of statecraft. The most recent refinement of this doctrine and the subject of this modest proposal is displayed in the exemplary conduct of the Trump administration's Council on Group Chatter, who in their wisdom undertook to replace the entire apparatus of formal governance with an encrypted group text. Having once resolved that minutes, memoranda, and sworn testimony were ruinous relics of a naive age, they instead chose to conduct all matters of war and state by means of private telephones and unsanctioned software. They discarded their official devices, those sinister tools which log and record, and embraced the blessed liberty of signal, a tool so elegant that it may wipe away the sins of men with the mere click of an auto-delete setting. But what genius, what economy of thought! No longer must the machinery of bureaucracy burden itself with archiving, oversight, or continuity. Instead, one may arrange the fate of nations from the warmth of one's nightstand, between midnight snacks and angry tweets, all safely vanishing into the ether before the ink is dry. And yet their ingenuity reached even further heights, for they were not content to merely erase their records. They endeavored to erase the very possibility of creating records at all. Behold then the masterstroke when assembling their war council in the humble format of a signal chat. These officials took the added precaution of employing aliases, so that their names might never be linked to their deeds. The president himself, ever the connoisseur of pseudonyms, selected the moniker of his dearly departed attorney, J. Goldberg, a man so loyal he could no longer contradict and so discreet he could not speak at all. This, I submit, was a work of genius, for who could subpoena the dead? Who could leak what is only ghost? But alas, even the finest human systems contain by necessity the fatal flaw of being operated by humans. It was in this noble effort at anonymity that fate itself, mischievous and digital, played its part. For when the National Security Advisor, a certain Mr. Waltz, was instructed to add J. Goldberg to the group chat, he did so with honest obedience and technical simplicity, typing the alias into the app's search bar, and lo, Signal, in its infinite algorithmic wisdom, returned a match. Not the spectral attorney J. Goldberg, but a living and breathing journalist by the name of Jeffrey Goldberg, editor of a notable periodical. And here, dear reader, we see the true poetry of modern governance, that the veil of secrecy so carefully woven can be undone by a software suggestion and a thumb too quick to tap. One might expect in any ordinary age that such a blunder would result in scandal, in resignations, in shame. But in this enlightened era of auto-delete accountability, no such burdens afflict our leaders. They offered no explanation, for explanation is merely a precursor to blame. They made no admission, for admissions are the mother of inquiry. They merely shrugged, muttered of glitches, and trusted the passage of days to erase all memory, just as their apps erased the evidence. And who can blame them? What is government if not the management of appearances? What is power if not the ability to speak without consequence? Therefore, I humbly propose that we recognize this event not as a failure, but as the culmination of the American experiment in informational freedom. Freedom not merely from tyranny, but from history, from memory, from truth itself. They have perfected what every statesman has secretly desired, a government without record, responsibility, or recall. Let no man say the system failed. The system performed beautifully. It erased itself.